Just got done editing this interview. You guys are going to love it. Before I do that, though, I want you to know that I'm going to be in the comments for the next 30 minutes or so answering your questions. If there's additional questions you want me to ask the CEO next time I interview them, leave them below. Or if you're just loving the data points I get CEOs to share, click the thumbs up button below. That's your way of telling me you're loving this stuff, and I'll get you more of it. Additionally, again, I'll be in the comments answering any questions you have. All right, for 30 minutes. Enjoy the interview. Hello, everyone. My guest today is Renat Zubairov. He is the CEO and co-founder of Elastic.io. Before Talend, DHL, and Novia, he's also a geek and a father of 3. But now, again, full-time focused on Elastic, which is helping bring data from apps and clouds together. Renat, you ready to take us to the top?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I'm ready. Thanks. Okay.
So give some context here first. If people missed your first interview with me, Elastic is very much in the space of kind of, Zapier or more enterprise like MuleSoft. Where to kind of put yourself in the spectrum?
Yeah, it's somewhere between Zapier and MuleSoft, I would say.
Okay.
So we are more complicated, more flexible than Zapier, but let's say less comprehensive, or let's say less broadly spread across the different industries than MuleSoft, and less enterprises than MuleSoft.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this interview is also a little bit different because you have sold the company. You're now basically running the company inside of another company, correct?
Correct, yes.
When did you launch the company in the first place?
We launched in 2013. We were 3 founders of Elastic, and we sold it in the May of 2017, actually. In Germany.
Okay, so guys, if you want the story of why they sold in 2017, we cover that back in the first interview together. So you can just search Elastic Latka, and that interview will pop up. So we're not going to talk much about that. But what I'm curious about is what is product development? I mean, what have things looked like since the acquisition? A lot of times when founders are acquired, they're sold on things like, take our stock price as part of the deal. Our stock's going to go up and you get less cash, or stick with us for 4 years and you'll get an earnout. But sometimes they lose control of their ability to earn the earnout. How are these things panning out for you?
So far, pretty well, I would say. I think at the time when our parent company nowadays acquired us, we were not a big company. We were a small company at the time. And definitely it was a strategic direction of a company which is now a parent company called Envice AG, to become more involved in particular product verticals, I would say. And so far we were able to grow like 100% year to year with the help. And it was actually playing very well for all of our companies. So for Elastic.io as well as for Envice.
And where were you when you sold the company? You said small company. Can you quantify that? Are we talking like $1 million run rate?
Yeah, roundabout. So we were actually pretty small at the time. So we were running on roundabout 1 million run rate at the time, and then we grew like 100% year to year.
That's amazing. So break 2 million in 2018 and 4 million last year.
I couldn't comment on exact numbers as a part of publicly traded company, and BSG is publicly traded company. Mm-hmm. Our numbers are pretty much public, so you can really check them, and everyone can check them.
Well, save us from doing the research. Save us from doing the research, though. Yeah.
We actually, so the last year numbers are not published yet. They're going out rather soon. But the 2018 numbers, we did almost, I think we did around about 2.3 million euro revenue.
Okay.
And almost 900,000 EBT.
That's great. That's cash flow, right?
Highly profitable kind of,
yeah. Okay, very good. And then now let's dive into now we understand the economics, let's dive into the product a little bit. So launch 2013, sell in 2017, you've grown nicely inside of another company. What has changed about the product over the past 2 years?
What we see is that the market where we're working in is expanding dramatically, right? And there are many additional areas which are now included or grown up into the integration area. And integration is becoming more and more important ever since actually this development. Another part of it that obviously by growing markets there needs to be a specialization, and definitely what we see now, a bigger market fragmentation and bigger specialization. By I think Gartner counted like 98 iPaaS vendors now, and they actually know who's iPaaS and who's not. Like wannabe iPaaS but not iPaaS at all. And this is actually means that each iPaaS vendor needs to define their own category, find their own place in the bigger market, growing market, but there still needs to be a good niche in this market. And what we see now is that the specialization is kicking in. So the different areas where we specialize and different areas where our competitors specialize. Like Zapier, for example, is for small customers. MuleSoft is like for big enterprises, like, I don't know, Fortune 50, and then somewhere in between.
How many customers are you serving now today, paying customers?
Unfortunately, I couldn't disclose this information.
Well, what's the last disclosed number?
I could not remember, to be honest. I could not remember right now.
Okay.
This is like tricky information because obviously in a bigger company, we have joint customers, and it's now hard to differentiate between the customers of us and customers of Envise. As now, obviously, one of the reasons Envise will acquire us is to leverage their customer base in order to resell them our product. And actually, it was working very well over the last couple of years.
Well, yeah, that's why I asked the question. That's usually why an acquisition happens. I guess, do you not remember what last publicly went out, or did they not release anything publicly?
I don't know, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, last time you were on the show, which was back in January 16th of 2018, you said you were past 200 customers. So, I mean, is it safe to assume you're north of that today?
Definitely.
Okay. Well, I mean, you laugh, but I don't know. It could have been small.
Sure. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, it's definitely one of our specialization is actually OEM and white label story. And this is why we are very strong, and we have a clear USP in the market and one of the market leaders in this sense. And by playing the story, obviously, it's pretty interesting to see like what is a customer. Is a customer like our partner who is rebranding and OEMing our application, or it's actually an end customer of this customer. So basically, calculating the customer numbers is actually not very easy.
How do you look at it?
We see end customers as our ultimate customers.
Okay.
Right? Our OEM partners are definitely our customers. We got paid by them through direct or the revenue share or whatever. There are different models. But at the end of the day, our ultimate success is in success of our OEM customers, in success of their end customers. And this is our goal, right? We are only then successful when they are successful. And
are you still kind of in that mid-market range? Specifically, you said the average customer last time we were on the show pays about $1,000 a month or $12,000 ACVs. Is that still the sweet spot?
This pretty much, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So back to your point, kind of, more mid-markety than a Zapier, but less enterprisey than a MuleSoft.
Correct.
Can you explain exactly like a connection that one of your customers uses you guys to facilitate? For example, my audience knows, or maybe they do it on Zapier. They're thinking, oh yeah, I connect my Airtable to my Google Calendar using Zapier for $10 a month. What's a connection that one of your customers might do through Elastic?
Well, it's very, 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 very different from our different either direct customers or our OEM customers. But one example could be like we have a very interesting customer in the educational space, which is, you could imagine now, very hot space in relation to news and releases. And they do, for example, a student onboarding, student alumni connection, and student management system, which compose out of, 17, 18 different systems. And they definitely do work with systems like Moodle. They do work with systems like Active Directory. They are very much cloud affine, so they go cloud first strategy. So they connect a lot of Azure services through Elastic. Then we definitely have a big bunch of our customers from ERP perspective. So people connecting SAP by design, SAP R3, ECC6, and HANA, and variety of e-commerce systems. But I mean, things like Salesforce, I think, and things like, Marketo is definitely also on the list.
And how many, a lot of people look at HubSpot and they go, wow, a lot of the HubSpot success comes from their, VAR net value-added reseller network of over 5,600 partners. I assume your OEMs are kind of the same way, or your white label plans are kind of the same thing. Is that on the scale of thousands yet, or is it like several hundred or several dozen? How many OEMs are you working with?
We're not in the thousands of OEM yet.
Okay. So between 100 and 1,000 is fair?
This is also, unfortunately, I couldn't disclose the exact number, or even this number range.
Okay. What about team today? Have you guys added additional people? You were 20 people a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, right now I think almost double, more than double is this team, the number of people. And right now, we are working in a bigger organization, a bigger scope. And definitely we found a very good combination of, let's say, services expertise of our parent company. So we're adding more and more people within our parent company to the services division who understand what we do, understand our product, implement it to the customers. But also we grow significantly on the product side. So I think right now in Elastica only we are right now around about 50 people, maybe a bit less. And in total, in context of Envoice, we are more like, I don't know how much, 170. But again, this is not, don't hold me for the numbers.
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to get a general idea of composition of the team, right? So of the 30 hires that happened over the past 2 years, how many, like actually just took your total team size today, how many are engineers versus quota carrying salespeople?
I think it would be like of the new 30 hires, which we did, would be, I guess, maybe like 20% of the engineers and sales.
So 80% engineers?
Yeah, 80% engineers and 90% sales and other activities. But obviously we have a pretty significant, for software as a service company, we definitely need a significant part of operation and support. So this is definitely something. Then it will be maybe even like less engineers. So operation support is something which is definitely very important for us. So we're actually very, very cautious in hiring there and also maintaining the people there. And the second is definitely the customer success. So the customer success and also working day to day with our OEM partners, training, go-to-market development, solution development. This is all the areas of work where it would grow significantly.
Do your customer success managers carry a quota?
Not yet. I mean, expansion quota, I would say. But yeah, not yet. No.
They are or do not have an expansion quota?
They do not yet.
Okay. And why do you say not yet?
That could be changed in the future, yeah.
Tell me more about that. This is the trend that's happening right now. A lot of CEOs are thinking about doing this, so I want to get in your head a little bit.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's pretty logical, especially for what we actually do, right? We sell a technological product which bring additional advantages to our customers. And generally speaking, there are two technology products exist, like two groups of products. One product which saves the money, one product that earn new money, right? So our product in OEM's case is not something that saves money. No, it actually earns money, right? So our partners, when they deploy our product, they either trying to be more sticky, right? So they think of us as expansion measure, right? We help them to do an ARR expansion and negative revenue churn, or they want to sell more of their products through connections, through integrations, and sell faster, right? So they actually internally calculating this account expansion for the end customer, but at the same time, we could potentially put this expansion goals or targets on our customer success people, but that we still need to understand better. We need to before we put some goals and our targets to our customer success people, we need to understand like how this expansion work and what is reasonable to expect and what is not reasonable to expect. And we're still not there yet.
Yep. Ignoring your CSMs for a second, currently today, how many quota carrying sales reps do you have?
Unfortunately, I cannot also disclose this information.
Oh, come on. That's like a link. I can look that up on LinkedIn.
Yeah, sure. You're free to do so.
It just takes me time. You can't save me 10 minutes and just tell me. I mean, are we talking like 5 people or 20?
I think we're less than 20 people.
Okay,
for sure. But again,
fair enough.
We are working again, we are not only sales organization in Latka, we also do sales organization in Envoice. And this is also one of the areas where we're trying to, we're like over the last year, at the time we spoke last time, it was only like immediately after acquisition. So we were like, okay, it's pretty much standalone. But now we see a lot of business together with Envoice. We see a lot of customers together with Envoice. And sales and marketing is actually also pretty much merged.
Mm-hmm. The reason I'm asking a lot of these questions is because last time you came on, you shared that gross revenue churn annually was about 12%. And you said that you didn't really see strong expansion revenue yet, but it was something you were thinking about. So 2 questions. Has gross revenue churn annually gone down, number 1? And number 2, can you quantify expansion revenue today, or the last reported numbers at least?
Yeah, it's a lot of numbers to really calculate in my top of my head. I couldn't really now comment on these numbers right now, to be honest.
Well, is churn not something that as a CEO of a SaaS company, you're not tracking on a daily basis?
No. But it's less than churn, because again, expansion revenue, especially on our OEM customers, it's something very important for us. So we're pretty much with the establishment of customer success organization, which actually happened not too long ago. I think it's less than a year. This is one of the ways of the ways to address this, and let's say a structural way to address this growth, right? However, what we definitely see is that churn on direct accounts is higher than churn of OEMs. But I mean,
churn in what accounts?
On direct accounts is higher than churn of OEMs. Although in the mid market, we do not have like churn numbers in single percentages per month right now. I mean, when we were working with the smaller companies, obviously the churn numbers were like, I don't know, 2, 3, 5% per month on monthly basis, which is huge on a yearly basis. On the middle market, and also in the market where we are in, we're pretty sticky, I would say. And this stickiness is actually what we convey and provide to our OEM partners.
Yeah. Okay. So it's fair to say then, you're less than the gross revenue churn that you were 2 years ago. You've gotten better at that on a revenue basis.
It's good. It's good to assume. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And so another question here. There's a lot of stories where founders go through an acquisition like this into a bigger company. The bigger company then changes priorities over 2 or 3 years. And before you know it, I'm reading a headline that the founder figured out a way to spin the company back out of the main company. Are you giving any thought to that? Or what would the conditions have to be for you to pull that kind of trigger?
Yeah, it's the conditions. I could imagine when the company changes priorities, and changes strategy, and this could happen for like a huge organization, which I could believe. Yeah. But so far we haven't run into this problem, to be honest. I couldn't really imagine the situation right now as a strategy which we agreed on and which we actually communicated and spoke before the acquisition is pretty much there yet now for our parent company. They're actually even more committed to the strategies than actually was started before because before we were like a bet, it was like, okay, we could buy this company and see how it develops. It's still small, it's still like 20 people. I mean, there's nothing, right? But now over the years, we grow into the significant part of the revenue of our parent company and also significant strategic part of it. So far, I don't see this as a valid opportunity. Although I could imagine for some different scenario where it could be potential possible for other software service founders or company founders.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess one of the reasons I ask is if a private entity was really interested in Elastic and came to Embase AG and offered something that was higher. Let's say, for example, that you guys did. It's reported here. I'm reading June 2019, $5.21 million in revenue. If someone came, you're obviously trading at a multiple, right, of revenue or EBITDA. If someone came and offered the parent company, a higher multiple than what they're currently trading at for specifically Elastic product and Elastic revenue, I'm curious how you think. Obviously, you can't say yes or no or what you're thinking, but I'm curious, at least the process, the discussion process of like how that would filter down to you as the founder of the company that would potentially spin back out.
I understand the question. Although, again, I think, we are working with our brand company since already like 2 years. Maybe like this is the third year as we're working together. And you couldn't. I think it's not feasible now to separate these two companies from each other, because the way how we work together, the way how we actually merge together, the way how we have a good combination of strengths and weaknesses on both parts, right? We were very much product company, less sales, less marketing, less professional services. The Embase is actually totally opposite. So there are no product expertise, but a lot of sales, project management, professional services, and marketing expertise. And these two combination make totally sense. And interesting thing aside, we just like got significantly less expensive on the market if you could check the numbers. The situation right now in the market, and I think the valuation of Embase right now, including Elastic IO, is around about, if I could guess, like, okay, it's now 2nd of April today, maybe like, I don't know, 15, 16 million euro.
Yeah. You're talking, obviously, we're talking about the virus, right?
Yeah. So, that's basically, I think it's a very good opportunity. Like in every crisis, there's a lot of opportunity.
Yep. No, that's right. On that note, let's wrap up here with the famous 5 or not. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
I think it's less a business book in a sense, but I think it's more like an interesting book which I recently read is slowly thinking, fast thinking, slow thinking. So this is a
you mean thinking
slow,
fast and thinking fast and slow.
Thinking slow, yeah. This is very, very, very impressive work, and also I think worth the Nobel Prize.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I think right now it must be an Elon Musk, actually, especially after his activities here in Germany.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company?
I don't have a referral revenues here, but Dropbox Paper. So this is one of my favorite tools right now.
What's it called?
Dropbox Paper.
Oh, Dropbox.
The paper Dropbox. So Dropbox Paper is a product from Dropbox. It's like a notes product. It's maybe like something like Evernote. Yeah, but it's Dropbox Paper.
Okay, very good. I hadn't heard of that before. Number 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
8, when my children give me.
So what's your situation? Married? How many kids?
Yeah, I have 3 kids.
Okay, so married with 3 kids. And how old are you?
I will be 14 today.
You're turning 40 today?
2 days, in 2 days.
Oh, in 2 days. Well, happy early birthday. That's exciting. Yeah. All right. Last question or not. Take us back to your 20-year-old self. What's something you wish you knew back then?
It always takes longer than you think. So be patient. Yeah.
Guys, be patient. Elastic.io launched this company in 2013, grew it to about $1 million in revenue before selling it in 2017 to a larger company. That it's now grown. Obviously, the last disclosed public numbers were about 2.3 million euros in revenue. They continue to grow rapidly, and that's on $900,000 of EBITDA, which is obviously nice growth, healthy growth. They did this all bootstrapped, which is obviously a great story, serving hundreds of customers in the Zapier kind of MuleSoft space, iPaaS space, scaling up to 50 folks on the team today. Call it 80% engineers or not. You wanted to add something on the end?
Yeah, it's a small correction. We actually also had an investor, which was bought out by the acquisition.
Oh,
so we didn't actually.
How much have you raised?
I think this number was also not disclosed, but it's actually a small 7-digit number.
Okay, so less than $100,000.
7-digit.
3, 6. Oh, 7. Got it. Okay, so less than 9 million.
It's less than 2 million euro.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Very good. Well, hey, listen, appreciate you taking us to the top.
Thank you.
These CEOs rarely give these kinds of interviews. I hit them hard, I get the data, and I want to do it more. So if you want to get more of this stuff, make sure you subscribe up here. And then additionally, go check out one of my other CEO interviews right now.